Do you ever look back at something you did and you just kind of cringe? Maybe it was something you said. Maybe it was a person that you trusted before. Maybe it was an old version of you that you don't recognize anymore. I feel like I've had a lot of those moments where I kind of stay up at night and just still question myself, like, why did I do that? Like, if I could just go back and undo that one thing, I definitely would. But I'm realizing nowadays that it's okay to make mistakes. It really is. We live in a world that often doesn't leave space for being human. You know, we're supposed to say the right thing all the time. We're supposed to know everything. We have to pick the right career by 21, maintain perfect relationships, succeed really quickly. And it's too much, you know? Like, I used to be so scared of making mistakes, not like the big or life-changing ones, but small ones. Maybe sending a text too fast or embarrassing myself in front of a group. You know, it's just like any mistake that I made felt like a direct attack on my worth. Like I was only respected, lovable, or enough if I just make everything right. If I just do things the perfect way. And to be honest, I feel like I'm not the only one in this. I feel like a lot of us tie our value to our performance, to our grades, or to our jobs, to the image or productivity that we have. So we learn to associate being wrong with being less, and that makes us more scared to grow and just make mistakes. But the thing is, it's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to try and fail. It's okay to make decisions and maybe later realize that it wasn't the right one. It's okay to look back and think, wow, like I really did not know life back then. That's life. That's how we grow. There was a time I pushed someone away that I really cared about, not because I didn't love them, but because I was just scared of being vulnerable. It wasn't until later I realized how I self-sabotaged something so meaningful to me. Just because I was scared. Just because I was scared I was being seen as weak. Maybe this person that I cared about, even though they wouldn't, will find me lame and just an unattractive individual to hang out with. And I carried that guilt for a while. Sometimes I think about him every now and then, maybe wondering how he's doing. I really lost someone so important to me just because I was just scared of being vulnerable. And that was a mistake that I made, a big one. I thought I was just a bad guy or a bad person for pushing someone away from me just because of my own flaws. Even though they cared about me and they were willing to be there for me, I couldn't show up for them. And that stings, and it hurts. But that moment taught me a lot about communication and honesty. Experiencing that, it changed how I showed up in my relationships. The mistake matured me, and that's the beauty of it. I feel like some of your greatest growth will come from the greatest slip-ups. You know what I mean? You'll say the wrong thing and learn how to apologize. You might chase the wrong dream and get an idea of what really makes you happy. You'll trust the wrong person, and in turn, you'll learn to trust yourself. I feel like we should stop viewing life like a test that only has one answer. It's really not. It's a process of refining, adjusting, falling, and maybe standing back up again. And you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to evolve. You're not weak for messing up. You're human. Just take a deep breath. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love. You're still deserving of joy, even with the parts of your story that didn't go as planned. The goal is not to never make a mistake, but just to be kind to yourself when you do. Instead of going, what's wrong with me? You can be like, what can I learn from this? Looking back at it now, it used to be so bad. If I said the wrong thing, I'd replay it in my head for days. Like if I failed at something, I'd convince myself that I was a failure. When you expect yourself to be perfect all the time, it's just so exhausting, you know? You're constantly bracing for disappointment and you never really allow yourself to grow. But I realized that growth doesn't come from doing everything right. It comes from messing up. It comes from sitting with the discomfort. That's what the mistakes you make are supposed to do. They guide you, they teach you, they humble you a little bit, so the next time you encounter something familiar, you know what to do. So it's okay, make mistakes. Some mistakes will hurt more than others. Some will take more time to heal, but don't let them close your heart. Because you're allowed to change. You're allowed to give yourself some grace. You're allowed to outgrow your past. And that's just how it is. That's how life is, I think. Just remember that you're growing, you're trying, and you're learning, and that is more than enough. Thanks for watching the video. It feels good to be back here. It feels more refreshing being outside. It's such a beautiful day. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.